I like to consider myself a relatively calm player in clutch situations. I like to hopefully think that I'm like a guy that people are like, yeah, I'm comfortable if he's the one clutching. If he is the last one alive 1v3, I hope that I'm not the guy where my friends are like, he's got no shot, we lost, GG, you know? I hope that I'm the guy that they're like, he's got a shot, you know? So I wanted to talk about clutch situations because I get asked this a lot, actually. I have people are like, hey, how do I handle stressful situations? How do I deal with clutches and stuff? And I was like, you know what? I could break these things down for people. I have a couple clips to like show you guys where I'm going to talk about clutches. Generally, when we refer to clutches, we think of like 1v3s, 1v4s, sometimes even. There's not a perfect way to handle them, but I figured the best thing I could do is at least give players like a checklist or something that they can go down, right? So if you're new to clutches, you don't know what to think, I need you to remember also, this is going to come with, it's going to come with time. You're never going to be like completely calm and collected within these clutches unless you've been in them in a lot of like different situations. Okay, so the first question that you're going to have to ask yourself basically is, should you go for it? Because if it's like a 1v5 or something like that, you're probably not going to win it anyway. Unless you like absolutely need to go for it in a 1v5, you might want to just save your gun. Also, if your team's like really ahead, like it's like 10-4 or something like that, maybe it's not worth going for it on your first buy round. Like maybe it's not really worth it. In which case, feel free to just back up and save. You don't need to clutch in those situations. It could be okay to just take your gun, go hide in a corner, and just save that gun for the next round. Now, if you do end up deciding to go for it, the next thing that you're going to have to think about is, do you know where the enemies are? So if I'm entering the site and I don't know where the enemies are, that's going to be the first goal, is actually locating these enemies. And if you can't locate them, or if you don't know where they are, here's what you should do. You should guess. Because if you don't know where they are, you're going to have to make some sort of assumption when you're going to start this out. Maybe you have a player back. Like, what are common positions? Ask yourself that. This might be a common spot that you need to check. You might have to check this back spot. This spot's incredibly common if you're looking for somebody. If they have two players, what are the odds that somebody went long? Probably pretty likely, right? Is somebody in CT? Are they in CT? Maybe we know that. Maybe we don't know that, right? Just keep in mind, where could the players be playing? And try to play off of that. So that's the next thing that you're going to do, right? After you figure out where your enemies are, or you guess where your enemies are, you're probably going to want to realize how much utility do you have to deal with the situation, okay? So if I have two smokes, where am I going to use these smokes? Well, if I know that one enemy's playing long, I'll probably end up using one of these smokes along. That's probably a good idea, right? Okay, now I'm pushing in. Now I've isolated one of the targets. This is perfect. Now that I've isolated that target, I can now focus my attention towards the guy in the back site. Say, hypothetically, there's two players. One's long, one's back here. I'm going to focus on that, right? Now I'm going to come in. I'm going to try to deal with this guy, and now I can focus my attention towards this guy long. Isolating these encounters is going to be incredibly helpful in these 1v2 situations, because if I take a fight 1v2, probably going to lose it, you know? So you're going to want to use that utility to deal with that. Another thing you're going to want to keep in mind is what utility do your enemies have, right? Because if I'm playing against a Brimstone or a Sova or even like a Raze and they have their ultimate available, if that player is playing long, they're probably not going to peek me. They're probably not going to peek me until I tap the bomb. So say the bomb's down right here, and I'm going to tap this defuse, and then this will hopefully bait out the Brimstone ulti. The same thing goes for Killjoy. This is actually very relevant to her utility, because if she has any bombs on it, you're going to want to either shoot them, or you're going to want to like fake the tap and hopefully get the Molotov out. After you've assessed this, you need to assess, do you have time for this retake? Do you have time for it? If you don't have a lot of time, you're probably going to want to save. If you do have time, but you don't have a lot of time, this is going to dictate the speed that you're going to have to take this. So I think this is the thing that a lot of players will struggle with on these retakes, is that if they don't have a ton of time, they'll end up kind of just wasting time, and they'll like walk in here, and then the clock will tick down, and like you're hearing it tick, and you're like, dude, you don't have time for this. And you're gonna see a guy back here. Maybe he does get the first pick, but he's still taking it slow. Time's still ticking. There's a guy long. Okay, I'm gonna smoke this. Okay, I'm gonna smoke this. Okay, I'm gonna walk up. I'm gonna tap it. Okay, I'm gonna tap the bomb. I tap the bomb. Okay, now I gotta deal with this guy. A lot of times you won't have enough time for this, and you just gotta work with what you got. You just gotta go with what you got, and just kind of like maybe like rush in there and just hope for the best. Sometimes you have to gamble and not check certain things. That's another thing. Sometimes you just can't take it so carefully, right? This is what we talked about with just running onto site. You just don't have the time to check everything. Sometimes you just gotta hope that somebody's not there. And this also plays into just guessing. Like if you don't know where the enemies are, just guess where you think that they might be playing right here. And then lastly, on this in this phase, before I show a clip, I'm going to talk about dealing with immediate threats. And this is very important. You're going to assess this in the moment, and you're going to say, this guy is who I need to focus on right now, or this guy is the guy who is the immediate threat. You want to always focus your attention on whoever is the most immediate threat. And a lot of the times, this is, like I said, this is judged in milliseconds. So Hiko's going to be in a 1v4 right now, and he's actually going to be pushing out a site. He's coming in from garage. It looks like they think that he might be CT. Going to get the kill onto the Cypher first. This first kill is going to be pretty easy right there. That Cypher didn't seem coming. The first kill is generally going to be the easiest in this clutch. Now everybody knows where he is. Now he needs to speed it up, right? So he's going to check that corner right there just very quickly, locate the player in the back of the site, right? He's trying to, so at this point, he's dealt with the second player. Where are the next two players playing? There's only a couple spots that they could be. They could be in spawn, they could be in garage, or they could be long. He's pretty positive one player is playing long, and you're going to see that when he comes to tap this bomb. He immediately shifts his focus towards long. He knows that this player is playing garage. He pushes up on him just to see if he's there. Gonna go back and tap the bomb. He knows that he doesn't have time for this. He has to deal with immediate threats. So he knows that Sage is pushing him, and then he flicks over to the Sinatra, and he actually takes him out there. Beautiful clutch. Most players aren't going to do this. Most players aren't going to land those shots. I recognize that. That's insane. I just think it's a really good example, though, of just understanding and being aware of where he could be approached and understanding that he needed to kill that Sage before he could flick over to the Phoenix. He couldn't deal with the Phoenix on his left because he knew the Sage was pushing him on the right. And then he also knew like the timing of it, how he had to do it in that moment, right? Had he gone Phoenix Sage instead, he would have died to the Sage, right? So it's just recognizing who he needs to deal with at the point in time and just kind of going for it, right? He's in a 1v4, not likely for him to land it anyway. I think it was a good example of just like a clutch situation, how you kind of deal with it. You know, he doesn't have a ton of time. He has to kill 4 players. So he kind of just rushes it in. Gets the kill on the Cypher. Now he knows that he has to move. He's being quick with it. He's not taking his time. He's not moving so slowly. They know where he is already. There's no point in him taking it too slowly. He's not sprinting around corners necessarily, though, also. He has like that balance where he's shift walking. He's trying to be a little bit unpredictable. And that's going to be one of the next things that we're going to talk about here, too, is try to be less predictable. A lot of the times when you're doing these clutches, people will do exactly what you expect them to do. So say they're in a 1v3, they plant the bomb, you come from like CT, like a pretty expected position. You just try to walk in and they kill you. That's what they're expecting you to do. Try to do what you don't think that they'll expect you to do a lot of the times, because you need to even the tides a little bit. This is what we talk about in 1v3s, where you play them aggressively. Say you plant the bomb, and then you have 3 people coming at you. If you play a default position, you're just going to get pushed and killed. So a lot of the times when people do this, you'll watch them, they'll get aggressive. They'll like push into spawn. They'll try to get that first pick or maybe 2 picks off of it on target. And that's how they'll kind of even it. That's generally what I'll do. I'll do that a lot. When you're playing from behind, you have to take more of a risk. We talked about being unpredictable. This one, this one's from one of my clutches. So I don't show a lot of my gameplay oftentimes. I think that it's better to focus on like the players who are better than myself. But I do think that this is an okay clutch that exemplifies trusting your gut. I think that what also goes with this is be quiet when your teammates are clutching. Don't say things unless it's like really vital information that they need to know in that moment, and you know that it is 100% accurate. Hey, he's over there. He's long. Like, don't start yelling in your teammate's ear. Even if you have that information, a lot of the times just let them focus, right? So here's going to be a clutch that I was playing right here. And this is more to exemplify trusting your gut than anything. But I'm playing right here, and I'm going to be going for this clutch. So I'm pushing in for a 1v2 retake right now, and I think I knew that somebody was back site, and I heard this Jet actually jump over this tripwire. I was like 90. I didn't see it. I didn't see it happen, but I thought I heard her jump long, and this gave me the sense that there was one player playing long. My teammate is going to tell me that they definitely did not go C long. He has a trap there. And I could have just been like, you know what? You're right. There is a trap there. And I could have looked somewhere completely different. But I literally heard her jump C long. And it's like, okay, well, I'm getting conflicting information at the time. I could have decided not to trust myself and be like, you know what? He does have a trip there. But instead, I was like, that trip probably could have been jumped over. And that's what I thought that I heard. So I actually know that this Jet's going to be playing long over here. I'm going to drop my smoke there.
Oh, she jumped it? Okay, never mind.
And I'm actually going to go for this. And you notice how that calm easily could have lost us this round. If he had been like, she didn't go C long, I have a trap there. I'm like, oh shit, you're right. But instead, I'm able to get the kill on the Jet. It's a good clutch, solid clutch. I'm feeling good about it, you know? That was a decent play. I was really happy with it. And then Dom calls me his dad. That's all you want in your life. Your friends to call you their dad. You know, I think it's cute. I thought that was an okay clutch. And it just like trust your gut when you're in these situations. A lot of the times, you'll think that you see something, and sometimes your teammates will literally give you completely different, like conflicting information. You just got to go with what you got sometimes, you know? Trust your gut. There's no secret to clutching. It's going to come with time. I think that this is a really good clutch that I had too. So I'm going to show it because I like this one. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to rewind it a little bit. Just so I can talk about all these things that I'm thinking at the moment. I killed this Raze here. I want her rifle. That's my first goal. I'm down to 38 HP, so I'm going to teleport back site. I'm not going to cross this gap because if I cross this gap, I can get killed very easily. So instead, I'm going to TP across right here. I'm going to break that sight line. I can see the Jet dash on. I actually, rather than shooting the Jet right away, I'm kind of expecting somebody to push. This is kind of a blunder because Turret ends up dying right here, unfortunately. But I do end up killing the Jet, and then I switch back here. I know that there's another player, and I pre-fire because I'm only sitting on 38 HP. I don't want to have to take that engagement where she could possibly trade with me. So I actually try to pre-fire right there. And then I'm going to teleport across the sight line again because the Sova Dart came in, and I knew that it came in from over here. These are literally all the things that are going through my head in this clutch situation. I see the Sova Dart. I heard that there's one mid because Deal calls that out that he died in the middle.
One bullet.
Deal calls out that I have one bullet. This is actually an okay calm. Honestly, if there's anything that you're gonna calming, hey, you have one bullet, it might be a good thing because I could lose right here, right?
He's got a shot.
I use that one bullet. I do kill the Omen, and that was one of the moments where I know that I have one bullet. I'm like, I'm gonna land this shot, dude. Cool, calm and collected at the time, dude. I was feeling good about this clutch, so I'm showing it. I know where the Sova is. Once again, I calmed this earlier. I'm going to use my blind over here because I know that he's there. I'm going to peek around this corner. This is a little bit of a whiff. I probably should have killed him there. Maybe I should have pushed him. But I'm going to back up here. I only have 38 HP. Now I'm trying to be unpredictable. I'm going to use my ultimate. This is to throw a little fork in his wrench, you know? Throw a little fork in his wrench, keep him on his toes, on his tippy toes. People are like, what does fork in his wrench mean? Oh, you know. Going to cancel it. Now he's thrown off, dude. He's thrown off. He's like, what do I do? What do I do? I'm going to be chilling over here. I'm going to walk over to the other side. I don't want to be sitting in the same corner where he knew I was. He knew I was in that corner. I want to be in a different corner now. Now he's going to end up peeking me. I'm going to kill him. Good play. Solid play. And that's how you handle a clutch. That's literally, that is my entire thinking throughout that play. I don't know if this helps anybody. I hope it helps somebody. I'm not just trying to flex here. I think I'm a relatively average, like maybe slightly above average player. But for the most part, yeah, that's how you handle a clutch. That's how I handle them. I felt good about it. Anyway, yeah, that's my talk for clutches. To go down the checklist, should you go for it? Do you know where the enemies are? Do you have utility? Do your enemies have utility? Do you have time? Who is an immediate threat? Try to be unpredictable and trust your gut. Those are all my things. What is that? 8, maybe 9? I don't really know. Do those things. You'll clutch every single time. Okay. The last thing you need to do: subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check us out on Twitch. Holy crap! I freaking love you guys. Thank you so much. Loaded into the game. I'm my dude. Turn on my cheats.
My ultimate is ready.
This is generally what you should do when you go for a clutch situation. Turn on your cheats.